I just bought this package set from Costco to prove one point. That being said, has it just backfired? Guess we'll have to wait to the end, shall we? Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. So I'm down at my local Costco trying to prove a point today, and that point is when you buy your first set of golf clubs, how long are you actually going to keep that set? How long do you have a couple of lessons, your swing changes, potentially want to upgrade? And the thing that I like, and I have seen over the last 2 years, and potentially I've even been proved wrong, is that the package sets that come out of this place retain a lot of their value, which for me is great to recommend to beginners, because yes, I'm about to spend a lot of money, and trust me, £480 on a YouTube video is quite a lot of money, but how much am I actually spending after I get them, unwrap them, unbox them, try them, review them, show you guys how much realistically do I think that I could get for this package set after I've hit them? And for me personally, it's a really interesting point, because whether you get a package set from Argos or buy brand new equipment that you get custom fitted for, when you do need to upgrade, and don't get me wrong, this is kind of like a stopgap as many package sets are, how long until you then upgrade, and then how much are you actually losing on that particular set, which is always a fascinating point. You buy a brand new driver last year for 450, hit it, play with it, you now need a lower lofted, stiffer shaft, and it's now worth £200. You've almost lost 60%. And what I've seen, especially with the Callaway Edge set over the last couple of years, is that you buy them, beginners try them, you get Odyssey putter, good irons, loads of reviews out there, but then you probably could get £350 back for that, meaning that for 2 years worth of playing, you've only actually spent £120 and had a brand new set in the meantime, which shows a lot of demand and also a good testament to the quality of clubs. Right, let's go and spend £480 on a video, shall we? Right, boys and girls, we have found them plenty of stock. I was slightly concerned that there weren't actually going to be any here, and to my amazement, there is a lot of stock. Not like when it was in pandemic, when I did the last few videos looking at Callaway Edge sets, especially for the price that they were going for. My concern is that the market was going to be flooded, but actually the stock's come back and the interest is still there. I'll show you the prices that the Callaway Edge set is still selling for, and that's the whole point of this video, which we'll talk about when we get on the golf course. I want you guys to buy a set. If you're just starting the game, get into it, something new, something shiny, but then when you outgrow this, and don't get me wrong, you will outgrow these in the future, what will you be able to get back for them? And that's kind of the side-by-side test, because you're getting a 10-piece set from Callaway and you're getting a 10-piece set from Cobra. Exactly the same thing in terms of set makeup. You're going to driver, fairway, hybrid, irons, putter. They're going to give you the instruments to obviously learn this game, but when you outgrow them, maybe when you go for a club fitting, what will you actually get for them secondhand? Also very excited to give these two a try. Obviously I've played the first version of this, which I thought was very good, but now I look at it, I'm standing side by side, which will probably be a separate video. You've got the Vice golf balls, which, let's be honest, originally were the first like business consumer, count the middleman, high quality golf balls. But then when you're looking at the Kirkland, you're basically getting two for the price of one. £25 for 2 dozen, £25 or £21 for 1 dozen. So I'm going to buy those, We're going to obviously test and hit them and then maybe do a separate video altogether. But when you look at them in plain daylight, this ball would have to be horrendous, personally for me, to choose this one. What is it with Costco? Walking in for one thing and you end up coming out with half a shot. I don't think I've ever walked out of that place spending less than 100 quid. Okay, boys and girls, back down here at Sanford. Let's unbox it and get everything out and see exactly what's inside. That took a lot longer than I expected to get them all out of the wrapping. First impressions, overall doesn't look like a package set, which I think most people have this kind of hesitation for, and I've kind of changed my tune a bit, because in mid-pandemic I was going, look what you could get for £500, so forget this, go and spend £500 second-hand clubs, you can get X, Y and Z, you can get this great driver, However, with that all being said, not many people have as much time as I do to obviously search clubs. Not only that, not many people have the knowledge or the extent of experience of using loads of second-hand clubs. The point when we're looking at this going, it's kind of good value. Now in 2 years time, someone will still have that for 40 quid. Someone will still have that £40. Someone will still have the hybrid for £40. Someone will have this putter, which actually I was a bit concerned about because I was thinking the Odyssey White Hot in the Callaway set is such a big bonus because you could get 70-80 quid for that. I was a bit worried that the Cobra wasn't going to be as good, but actually it looks pretty decent. Therefore you probably get £50 for that. Irons probably get 180 for, and I'll show you some sold listings down the right hand side here of what's been selling. The wood set here is going for like £220, £250, which is mad. The irons going for around £180 to £200. So we potentially could go out, play with this, hit them, try them, and then get our money back. That is an extremely high ball flight with the fairway wood off the first. We're going to go and play a few holes. We'll talk about the performance side of it, but that's not really what sells it. I'm going to talk about some negatives of this package set as well. But three things that I like. Number one is the price point at $480. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously there's a lot cheaper package sets out there, but at $480, still with the woods and the irons and the putter, it gives you the ability to play golf. Therefore, it always will serve a value. Someone can take these clubs, go to the golf course and play golf. And that's why we see such a drastic drop in prices year on year, because fundamentally they're no different from last year's. And even though that driver is custom fitted for you at $450, when you do then try to sell it and move it on, it's just another driver to anyone else. And my second point is that it's a big name brand, Cobra. Now you're paying another £150 on top, I imagine, from a normal package set. Like if this was unbranded, had someone else's name on it, it's probably about a £350 package set. There's nothing special going on here. But my second reason why I do like this package set is because it is Cobra. And even though you're spending a tiny bit more, there's also going to be a lot of people looking to buy it off you. Therefore, if you wanted to swap and change and take the driver out and take the fairway out, or swap the irons and put new irons in, someone will be willing to buy those irons off you. Whereas the downside of a lot of package sets that I see, like Ben Sayers or whatever it might be, there just isn't that market. So yes, you might have saved yourself £120, £150 at the start because it's a lot cheaper. You're not necessarily paying for that brand, but at the same time you're probably losing the same amount of money on the back end because no one will want it off you. And then my third reason is it's a starting point. A lot of you just probably want to go and play golf. It's April, the sun's out, the courses are looking great, and you don't want to spend ages on Facebook, eBay, Gumtree, whatever it is, putting potentially your first set, or maybe upgrading a set of old clubs that you potentially have in the garage. And maybe that's why I overlooked 2 years ago when I said, these are worthless, don't bother with these, this is what you can get. And what I was substituting is just time and ease. It's a good starting point, it's a good price point. They're good looking clubs, and if you're eager to get out and then potentially upgrade through your journey of golf in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it might be, you've got something to always fall back on. I have absolutely spanked that drive. 300 easily with the package set drive. If you ever play Sanford, at the fifth on the parts, about 330 yards, something like that from the backs. And yeah, big old drive. It goes to show it's kind of more technique than equipment. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the best driver in the world, but it'll get you started. I don't know what's more devastating, my massive leak out to the right or that rattle. Well, that throws my title completely out the window. These things happen at the end of the day, and obviously I want to talk about a few of the cons of the package sets. But I've worked in the golf industry long enough and sold many an expensive driver, 350, 400, 450, as well as woods, fairways, putters, you name it, and they all break. And to be honest, every golf manufacturer that I know and worked with are very good at returning. Should be a very interesting one though, seeing as this is a package set. So I'm not too sure how the outcome of this is going to be, but I'll keep you posted. We think as well with the rest of the set, like tolerances in golf are a nightmare altogether. So in the package sets, I'd be very interested to know, is this actually 10.5 degrees, and are these loft and lie correctly in terms of they got nice little gapping between them? The head covers, personally, I think they're just a bit cheap. I mean, the putter one looks great. I think the putter is fantastic. They surely could have done a tiny bit more with the fairway and wood head covers. I would have liked potentially to see like a wedge like at the bottom there, like a
56, because that won't be 56 degree, but like another wedge at the bottom as well. It can't cost that much more surely, just to put a like essentially just like a lob wedge at the bottom, just so that you have something a bit more versatile when the ground's obviously a lot firmer and you want to play those cute ones around the green. And overall putter, why can't they just put like a high MOI putter, like a face balance one? Because every beginner needs a face balance putter. They don't realistically need a blade one. So I think package sets overall, and this goes for Calo as well, could be somewhat upgraded a tiny bit. Doesn't necessarily have to put tons more R&D or money into it, but realistically I think the 6 to sandwich is a good idea for beginners. 3 wood realistically should be a 5 wood for most beginners, and then just tying the bag a bit closer together for that kind of beginner golfer. Okay, so taking the rattle out of the equation, let's talk performance, because the driver in itself, actually very impressed. Like, I absolutely nutted it off that 5th hole on the parks, and the rescue woods fairway, they sound great, they feel great. Obviously they're high launching, high spinning and not built for me, but they're designed for a beginner. Overall irons felt good, nice high forgiving, and it just goes to show how cheap and affordable we can make golf equipment. Do you know what I mean? You can make a very sound set of clubs that gets you around the golf course. This is the whole point of this package set. You can go order online a package set, it'll be there next day, and you have the ability to now go and play golf with a nice aesthetically pleasing, well-rounded golf set without having to spend upwards of £2,000. Right guys, I definitely couldn't leave the video there. It's now the next day. I've come back down to Costco. I've obviously got the box with me. I packaged it all back up, and I'm going to go and explain obviously the situation, where the driver essentially is faulty and what is the process. Because before I recommend a package set to you guys, which I do still think is amazing value and what you're getting is great value for money and potentially the second-hand side of it, but aftercare is incredibly important in golf. You go to your pro, you buy a driver, you buy a set of irons, and even in half a year's time, that professional will still help you. There's certain warranty when it comes to golf clubs, so I'm incredibly interested to see what the process is if you were to buy golf clubs from like a mainstream wholesaler like Costco, and what is the aftercare also like. So I better go and find out exactly what the deal is. Less than 5 minutes in the shop, the lady behind the counter was extremely helpful, and full refund, £478 including VAT. And the aftercare of golf clubs is really important because they are expensive bits of equipment with very fragile components as well, which sometimes means that these things do happen. And I've seen it countless times with irons over the years, TaylorMade RSI irons for example, those speed slots, they were constantly breaking like 8 months, 9 months, 10 months down the line. Ping for example, the weights at the back of the head, they constantly fall out, especially around like the G25, maybe G30 era, something like that. Paid up for it if the aftercare is good. £478 on a set of golf clubs. In the grand scheme of thing of what you're getting and the quality and the equipment, especially when I was hitting it, is very good value, but it still has to last, it still has to be durable. And if there was something to go wrong with it, you'd like to think that you're going to be compensated in some way, or at least get the club, whatever it might be, mended to a satisfactory level. Really impressed with obviously that process there for example, and just thoroughly impressed with the COSTCO Cobra set altogether, because when you do outgrow the set, and you will outgrow the set, don't get me wrong, they're very high launching, very spinny, which is exactly what you kind of want from a beginner set. You would like to think that you're going to get something on the back end, and I do feel with like the Ram package sets, or let's say Hippo, or whatever it might be, like the more off-brand, yes they're £150 cheaper, and yes you're probably still getting the same level of performance, but there's just not that many people to then buy off you for 150, 200 quid. Whereas these Cobra Callaway ones, I have to kind of swallow my pride over the last 2 years and actually say, and a bit more for the badge and a bit more for the brand, but then at the same time there will be a long line of people to obviously pick up the set after you and save themselves 200 quid rather than buying it brand new. And I think if you can get a second-hand one set of these for 250, 300 quid, that's a really good deal. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Took a couple of turns and twists, I'm not going to lie, but this video took a lot longer than I thought it was going to obviously finish and make, but I hope you liked it. And if you did like it, please leave this video a like, subscribe if you are new, and yeah, catch you guys later.